Gauteng's water infrastructure is in the spotlight yet again after an announcement indicating reduced water flow in some provinces, in some of the municipalities due to maintenance. The province's water woes have been attributed to old infrastructure and leaks. The Water and Sanitation Department says the province's challenges need to be addressed at municipal level. Let's unpack this further with a public infrastructure expert at the University of Cape Town, Gundo Maswime. It's great to have you on. Thanks for joining us. It's been years now, isn't it, that we've been having this discussion about water infrastructure in Johannesburg and in Gauteng?
Yes, indeed. I think with the population also growing so rapidly, it's becoming a challenge. There's a lot of people making new connections, and at the same time, the valves are very old. Most of the valves are old, so they are not controlling the pressure. So when you have got high pressure and old infrastructure, the pipes normally burst, so you've got high water losses. So they've started a program. I think Johannesburg Water says they've got 730 valves to maintain. So during the maintenance time, there will be a lot of interruptions. And so for that reason, they will reduce the flow in some areas, hence the pressure reduction.
So in Johannesburg, Gundo, the issue of non-revenue water, so these are the leaks that you just described, right? It's described as water that we don't collect money from. It's almost 45%.
Yes, that is quite high. And the way that it's estimated is not always very accurate. So it could be more or less in that region, which means that water that comes from groundwater, only 45% of it becomes income, which means the municipality will not be breaking even. They're not making profit from the water that they are buying from groundwater. Also looking at the inputs such as human resources and replacement pipes and all items that are associated with the network.
Right.
So, and it's not a Johannesburg problem only. It's widespread, but primarily most municipalities don't know where their pipes are.
So there are two issues, right? It's the non-revenue water, and then there's the water that's lost to leaks. As you say, the leak water that we lose, that's more difficult to sort of pin down, but it is somewhere between 25 to 40%. I mean, that's an incredible amount of the available water that we have that's being lost to leaks.
Yeah, it's a lot. Some of it is vandalism. Some of it is because people are actually making their own connections. They just break into a bulk pipe and connect where you have got plumbers that are not certified to work on the infrastructure. So it's a very big challenge because it means now groundwater is constantly increasing the supply to Johannesburg and other municipalities. But the rate at which they are now going to need to supply, it's really a matter of time before it will outstrip the amount that Johannesburg or any other municipality supplies to its residents.
Yeah.
In fact, Johannesburg might be better than municipalities like Mfuleni, where there are also big challenges, and Mohale City, the mining areas, and so on. So it's a very big challenge for which I don't think even the kind of financing that it will require is a lot. So it's now a balancing act where you prioritize the most critical parts of the infrastructure.
Right. I mean, Rand Water says that, and this was at the end of last year, where Rand Water revealed that 2.5 billion litres of water is lost every single day by Gauteng municipalities. So we're being told it should be a municipal issue that should be fixed. What's your take on how we go about fixing this issue?
It is, Rand Water is correct to say it's a municipal issue. But our observation has been that municipalities, in many instances, really just do not have the capacity to solve that problem. Even if they were given all the money that is needed, they will not have the capacity to do it. So there are instances where Rand Water is suggesting to take over the operations, water operations from the municipality. That would go a long way to help. Unfortunately, Randwater will not be able to take the whole province, so that will also be too much for them. So there are staffing issues, but there's also an issue of processes. To just go and repair a leak sometimes is not as straightforward. There are cases where the work is outsourced. Somebody needs to monitor how much has been used, and in some instances, the prices are inflated. So it's a very big challenge that goes into procurement. We really have to reimagine water governance in South Africa in general if we are to win with a problem like this.
So we've just been notified of reduced water flow for certain parts of Gauteng for the month of June and July. And we're being told it's because of maintenance. You'll correct me if I'm wrong, but we had maintenance not too long ago. I think it might even have been just last year. It doesn't appear, at least on the face of it as a consumer, that these maintenance projects are working, or at least that they're as effective as perhaps we all think they should be.
Well, maintenance should be ongoing. It's always ongoing. The idea is also to spread it out so that the consumer doesn't feel that there's a lot of inconvenience. However, when you are having an unsurmountable maintenance backlog, the frequency with which you will have to do maintenance has to be increased as well. Mm-hmm. So we have to appreciate when we hear that maintenance is being done. A situation where you hardly hear about maintenance, then you know that one day you are just going to have a cutoff, and maybe a big, an important section of the network will be out. That will take a long time. So with maintenance, you can still get water at a reduced pressure, mm-hmm. or not have water maybe for a few hours or a day. But if it becomes a pipe burst, or in cases like what Johannesburg Water is saying, where they don't know where the valves are, they don't know what is the condition of the valves. When you have a burst pipe, you need to close a valve so that you can work in that area when it's dry. So when you don't know where the valves are, it takes a long time to intervene. We saw Randwater had a massive pipe burst, which the CEO went to the site to show people. Fortunately, the next day, they were able to contain the problem. But in many municipalities, that can take a lot of days. In fact, Gauteng, as much as the problem is bigger there because of the population size, there are regions that have not had water for a month, in Wembe district, in Limpopo, in many other places, even when you know the problem is not as big as something that should take a month to fix. So I think South Africa needs to really sit down and reevaluate the whole water business and not look at it as a funding problem only. It's a governance problem as well, and it's a capacity issue that is involved. So we have to get everyone to get involved, especially the private sector.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, some areas are without water for a month or even months, some for years. Gundo, let me thank you for your time this afternoon. Gundo Maswime is a public infrastructure expert at the University of Cape Town.